Hey, pre-notification gang. Thanks to resub, go easy. And the resub Rhonda. And Magical Socks and Horde. And the resub Bryce. Yeah, I just pulled up Bolt Gun. That's what I've been looking up here. I don't know if I'll play it tonight though. Maybe. But yeah. I saw it just came out. Next issue of Godslap will be early July. I double checked. So issue 4 will be early July. But the anime opening comes out in 2 days. There's the resub Doink, Peanut, Juston, Pizza, and the Bits Fried. Or the Prime Fried, Inkman, and the Bits Arrow, Mac, and Karja. No, I didn't see that, Mac. That's pretty cool, though. And no, I haven't heard of that one, Arrow. Thanks to resub Flux Street, Magnus in Maine, and Kaze. And resub Cash, CJ, and gift sub Consider. You see Mizzy was arrested? I did see that. Whether or not he's going to get any actual consequences, Lord only knows. But I did see he did get arrested. Mizzy's the prankster. The one that, like, goes into random strangers' houses, steals dogs, assaults people, shit like that. Thanks to resub Gojo and Maple and BKF. Thanks to resub Nate and Carter. Well, you just reminded me. I wanted to do something real quick. Is the resub Nameless and Doba? Oh, that's right. The new Jujutsu Kaisen trailer came out. I meant to watch that. He's a tier 1 Emeritus. Oh, and King of the Flower Moon. Right, right, right. That is wild, Jay. It does not seem worth the money. What did you think of the newest Vinland Saga episode? I think it's amazing. I think it is super sad that Vinland's not getting the hype that it did for season 1, when I think Vinland Saga season 2 is legitimately an upgrade in every way. I know in the manga, Farmland Saga is considered the best, but for anime watchers, they're all like, "Oh, it's too boring, it's too slow," and it's so upsetting to see that because I think it's amazing. Any plans to get your comics into comic book stores? The comic industry is slowly dying, and I would like to read your comics, but I don't see them in stores. That's super sweet. We are in stores, just not every comic store. But on the website, there's a list of all the stores we are in. Easy tier 1. Chum and the Resub Trav, Central Frog and Red Rock and Justin. I wouldn't say that the comic industry is dying either, by the way. Unless you're talking about like mainline Marvel and shit, then maybe. Marvel's been Marvel comics haven't been slapping like they used to. They've been going through a bit of a rough patch, but like independent comics are kind of going crazy. Thanks a resub Rafter and the Bits J. No, that makes sense then, Jay, if it's for that reason. But yeah, the price on that Star Wars Galactic Cruiser makes no sense. Thanks to the resub Queen and Zed. How long do you want Godslap to run for? Oh, we envision that as like a literally decades long story. Like we have an entire universe fleshed out there that would take me like a 10-hour stream to even get the basics through. Like we have planned that out for a long, long, long time. That one's a massive, massive story we want to tell in a huge universe. Yeah, Godslap is like our One Piece basically. That's kind of how we're designing it. Thanks for the 10 gift sub, Shadow. Appreciate that. And the resub Blue and Shaq. Yeah, we'll check it out. Like I said, I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I love Brendan Fraser and I know he's in this movie. Right? I think this is his movie.
The Osage took their name from Missouri and Osage rivers.
Hold on, actually, give me 1 second. And yeah, we're watching the Sony State of Play or whatever later.
Children of the Middle Waters. Move, said the great white father. There are many, so many hungry wolves. Can you find the wolves in this picture?
Am I misremembering? Is this not the Brendan Fraser movie? Oh, there he is. No, it is this movie. Okay.
Can you find the wolves in this picture?
Interesting. Man, that's so disrespectful. They don't even put Brendan Fraser in this for their big build. Maybe he doesn't have a huge role. Thanks to resub Brojo, Dabby, Houdini, and the gift sub Robo. Resub Shrek, Fire, Goots in Tier 1 French, Tier 1 Splice, and the Bits J. That's sweet, Jay. And I think we're still working on it. We're still trying to actively get out to more, but I appreciate that. I don't know if you like them, but did you see Bless the Fall is back? How serendipitous. Tiana just showed me their new song, and literally a month ago I went through their entire discography. Because I remembered Bless the Fall used to go hard, like To Hell and Back, Guys Like You Give Guys Like Us a Bad Name, shit like that. So I went back through all of their songs. Now a month later they released some new tracks, which is cool. When is the PlayStation Showcase? Tomorrow at 4. Thanks for the 5 gift subs, Fire. Thanks to the resub Lunar. And the resub Fabi and Merlin. Hidden Citizens? What? That name's super familiar. What did they make? I don't recognize them. I just recognize the name. I'll check them out later. Thanks to the resub Arrow, Merlin, One Shot, Ghost Lake, and the Prime Obama. And the resub Spoonie. You think Xbox can have a comeback in the coming years? If so, what do they need? I think they could if they just start making good games. Like, it is actually just that simple. Make good games. That's it. Like, actually just make good games. I will, this ties into the video I posted on the second channel today, but I actually feel like consoles are in a really good position in the gaming market because as more and more games are getting released, the minimum requirements to play them on PC are getting higher and higher, making it even more expensive. So people are obviously going to flock to the consoles instead because they're cheaper. The fucking Lord of the Rings Gollum game, this repugnant looking game, has the gall to have an extremely high requirement. This thing. So you'd still need like a $1,200, $2,000 computer just to run this on minimum specs. Developers just aren't bothering to optimize games anymore. Is the resub Zilla, Birdo, and Lime. Oh, before we watch the Jujutsu Kaisen trailer, what's going on in Warframe? Someone tried to tell me last night and I forgot. I don't see anything about it. Thanks the resub Carlos and the Prime Tally. The resub Sharky. Oh, I meant to say War Thunder. Sorry, I got Warframe on the mind because I'm getting back into the grind. War Thunder. What's going on in War Thunder? Sorry, I meant War Thunder. Thanks the resub Prince. Yeah, Denuvo does suck. Agreed, Jack. And thanks for the resub, all of you. They bumped the in-game prices of vehicles and upgrades, so people have been review bombing. Oh, so it was a monetization thing? I thought this was going to be another, like, top secret government document leak. Because that's happened 3 times. War Thunder devs remove Steam mention from website due to review bombing. Eek. That's no good. Those must have been like some egregious monetization increases. What do you think would be perfect without the live service and microtransactions? Oh, what game do you think would be perfect without the live service and microtransactions? I can't think of one. I actually can't think of a single one. Nah, Destiny 2 needs to be live service. What the fuck? Destiny 2 is like the actual only good example of live service. The only thing I'd wish is they made bigger changes season to season as opposed to kind of just like filler content. Thanks to the resub, Holy God. And Decaf. Now let's check out the Jujutsu Kaisen trailer.
あの日から自分に言い聞かせている。私が見たものは何も珍しくない。周知の醜悪。
Do they have English subtitles anywhere? Special. Like, I actually really like the characters too. It's like they're not the most unique, but they're just so fucking flashy and cool. The animation is beautiful, non-stop action, and the characters are really fun. There's the resub Nox, Bones, and Geo, and Green, and Clarity, the prime random name. Did you see Western game devs mauling again with Tears of the Kingdom success? No, was it the Horizon devs again? They seem to really not like when other games do well. At least they didn't for Elden Ring. Who was mauling? Thanks the resub hooligan. Just the God of War guy. You talking about his tweet where he's like, game looks awful. And that's it? Wouldn't necessarily call that molding. That guy just, I don't know, he just turns his brain off in tweets. I don't know what to tell you. Thanks for resub, Jose. When the hell did the Horizon devs mauled over another game? Well, when Elden Ring came out and it was going fucking crazy, some of the devs on Horizon went to Twitter and they're like, the UI is so fucking terrible, it's ridiculous that a game like this is getting the praise it is. They just kept pointing out that the UI is dated and then a couple other things. It just seemed very salty. But I mean, it's like blame your publisher for putting you head to head with Elden Ring. I mean, what do you expect? Nah, I probably won't play the Convergence mod. I'll probably just wait for the DLC to come out. Thanks for resub, Nate. Yeah, I'm excited for Lords of the Fallen. I think it looks good. Thanks for the gift sub, or the 5 gift subs, Dung, the resub maniac. Thanks the bit splice, that was wholesome. It's a bit personal, but what started your hate for drunk drivers? Did something specific happen? No, nothing specific, man, but it's like legitimately just the most needlessly dangerous thing you can do, not only for yourself, but literally every innocent person around you. Like, it's just, like, that has to be the most natural thing to hate. Most natural person to hate is a drunk driver. But no, there wasn't like some specific instance or anything. I guess this isn't a specific instance, but I remember when I was in like middle school, and this was like at the height of Dare with like drugs and shit, which was highly inefficient. It actually just made drugs seem cool. They did have something similar that they brought to my middle school for drunk drivers, and it was like the opposite of Dare, where it made drunk driving seem like you were going straight to hell, and if you drank a single beer and touched a car, you'd kill somebody. And they interviewed some like, I think it was like a 16-year-old. There was like a 16-year-old who had drove drunk from like a party and killed a couple people in a crash. And this kid, like, he was destroyed. Like, he was fucking ruined. And it was so painful to watch, and that did stick with me. Like, listening to that kid tell his story, that was actually pretty powerful. But it's not like that's where the hatred for drunk drivers started. Like, that's just the most natural thing to dislike. He was a football player, right? I don't remember if he was a sports player or what. I don't remember like what he used to be, but he's still in jail now. He got the whole book thrown at him. He will never be getting out of jail, and rightfully so. Thanks, resub, Kuya, Jaff, Fire Ice, Drew, and Seth. You see the guy who shot his roommate for eating the last Hot Pocket? No. Clifton. Why is he smiling? Clifton E. Williams shot his roommate for eating the last Hot Pocket. And then he's smiling here. He's like, yeah, and I'll do it again, too. Oh, anything away from downtown Tampa, Arrow, for sure. That's going to be very expensive. I think they're still investigating Elkin from what I read last time, but I hope that you're wrong. Thanks to bits, Arrow and Kismet. And yes, I've seen it, Kismet. Thanks to resub, Schizo, Tattooed, and Freddy. Clifton E. Williams was arrested Sunday on one count of assault for the shooting that wounded his roommate during an alleged argument over the microwavable food item. Oh, so his roommate survived. Well, that's good. He became upset when he learned his roommate had apparently eaten the last Hot Pocket and allegedly started throwing tiles at him. What? The roommate reportedly tried to leave, but that's when Williams allegedly went back inside the shared home, grabbed a gun, and shot the victim in the rear end. Bro shot his cheeks? That's fucking wild. You eat the last Hot Pocket, I take your ass. The roommate told investigators he sought help a few blocks away. According to WPSD, police said the unidentified victim was taken to the University of Louisville Hospital where he was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Wow. Well, at least he didn't kill him. Probably ruined Hot Pockets for his roommate. He'll never touch one of those again. Thanks to the tier 1 ant. That is definitely a not so fun fact, Jay. Christ. That's awful. Can afford guns but not an extra Hot Pocket. Well, I don't think it was the financial aspect of it. It was the last Hot Pocket was eaten, and now he'd have to go out of his way to get another one, which made him mad. I don't think it was a money thing. Maybe it was, though. Maybe it was like, damn, I saved up for all these fucking Hot Pockets. Thanks to the resub pill. Your favorite show is on. What's my favorite show? Thanks to the resub banana. That's wild, Jack. What the fuck? That's just wild. Yeah, we just talked about the prankster getting arrested. We talked about the Activision cease and desist. We briefly talked about it last night. I mean, I guess I can pull it up again. I didn't realize just how popular these services were. So right now, Activision's going through and cease and desisting a ton of these projects that basically allow you to play their older games safely. So games that are no longer supported by Activision, they're going through and shutting down the services that make it possible for players to still safely play them. It's pathetic. It's so fucking pathetic from Activision. But this was actually the first time I even heard of these things. That sucks for the community. It's terrible. Weren't they actually distributing ROMs and stuff? I saw like one Discord message from one of the projects from one guy who said that they'll include a ROM at some point, but I don't think that was confirmed. I'm not sure, but I did see like there was one of these projects that had one guy say that. Thanks to resub Savoy, Noir, Raptor, Mago, and Sanctum. Haven't played the Starship Troopers game yet. This is 100% Microsoft enforced. You think so? I don't know about that. Nintendo just performed a 3DS system update after years of no support, only to make hacking S&D. What? Thanks to the resub, Beauty. I think companies are emboldened by watching Nintendo sue people. Nah, this isn't out of character. I vaguely recall they did something similar for I think it was not Overwatch. What was it? No. Was it? I actually don't remember now. I think it was Overwatch. It might have been. But this isn't the first time they've ceased and desisted fan projects. Thanks to the Bits Kismet and Abungi. It was WoW private servers? Was it? Maybe it was. I did watch the Five Nights at Freddy's teaser. What are you talking about? Yeah, it was before they created their own classic servers. Oh, okay, maybe it was the WoW private servers. Thanks to resub Annie and Bird. I'm pretty sure Rule 34 can't use Pokemon and Overwatch tags because of cease and desist. No, you're just very wrong. If you go to just like the basic Rule 34 site and sort by most popular, it's Pokemon. That's not even close. Or at least it was like a couple of years ago when we did that on the podcast. I don't think they've changed it. Thanks to the resub Bebo. And no, I didn't know about a hurricane forming. No, I think it's just straight up Pokemon arrow. You know what? I'll double check. Let's see. I'll go to Rule 34 right now. You can't see the screen, right? No, you can't. You're good. Yeah, if you just do Pokemon, there's 484,668 different porn images. Yeah, there's no cease and desist on like Rule 34 Pokemon shit. It's not like illegal. That'd be a very hard thing to enforce. Easy tier 1 Argus. Five Nights at Freddy's was filmed in my town down the street from where I work. You should ask for a role. Just march up to set one day and say, "Hey, Buster, let me on board this ship." They might like the assertiveness. They're talking about Rule 34 Paheel. It's a different site. The tags are now Porkymon and Overlook. Oh, I don't know that site. Exit tier 1, Jolly. Exit tier 1, Dude Chill. Oh, that's right. Tiana just told me about that. She got a notice about the Netflix sharing being enforced pretty soon. Looks like it's rolling out. Oh my god, I keep falling for that. Jesus Christ. I hate it. You force me to turn off ad blocker, I'm not coming back. Unless I accidentally click on it like I do every single fucking time there. Thanks to the bits arrow. Ah, I gotcha. I didn't know that. Oh, so they updated the 3DS so that way you can't hack or mod in it anymore. Interesting. How are they going to enforce password sharing for Netflix on phones? Let's read. Netflix on Tuesday said it was sending out emails about account sharing to customers in 103 countries and territories, including United States, Britain, France, Germany, Australia, Singapore, Mexico, and Brazil. The emails state that Netflix accounts should only be used in one household. Paying customers can add a member outside of their homes for an additional fee. In the United States, the fee is $8 per month. Members can also transfer a person's profile so the user can keep viewing their history and recommendations. Yeah, it doesn't specify anything about the phone. If I remember correctly, though, in the initial announcement on how it would crack down, you'd have to, like, I think you have, like a 2-week grace period where you can have your main account be outside of the main hub, but then you have to check in. Otherwise, you get locked out. Oh, it's once a month? Oh, I thought it was like every 2 weeks. Yeah, I imagine this will be a huge hit to their stock. I can't imagine this will be received well. Even just the idea of it when they were floating it around a couple months ago was received very poorly. I can only imagine now that all the normies getting the email are about to have a fucking rude awakening on the Netflix changes. If no one uses Netflix, they'll run it back. Well, I don't think that'll ever be the case. But the estimated 100 million users that are password sharing, You'd be lucky to even get half. I don't think you're gonna get anywhere near half. Like, these people aren't going to just sign up on their own, and there's no way the main accounts are gonna pay $8 for them to be on their account. Is Netflix still a thing? Yeah. It's kind of just like a K-drama hub now. Like, Tiana just watches, like, exclusively K-dramas on it. They don't have anything good that goes to it. Their originals are fucking non-existent only when Stranger Thing rolls around once a year. Everything else is fucking trash. Thanks the resub. Siska and Drap and Drag and the Bits Cat. Oh no, I didn't see that at all, Cat. That sounds terrible though. Sound like assholes. Was Extraction an original? Oh, they do have one good thing coming. I like the first Extraction. They have the sequel coming. But that's definitely not like a service seller. Extraction 2 is not exactly going to have people flocking to get $8 out of their wallet. It's just a silly... Oh, I did Extraction 8. It's just a silly, fun action movie. Oh, they got a new trailer. Be a fun, mindless action movie. Nothing to go crazy about, though, and like sign up for Netflix for it. There's a resub Retro, Sigma, Davy, Hog, Humza, and the Bits of Bungie. Oh, they do have the One Piece live action coming out at some point. Extra Prime blocks. There's a 14-minute one take in that movie. In this movie, Extraction 2 or the first Extraction? Because I don't remember a 14-minute one take in the first Extraction. Why would Chris Hemsworth react to a teaser for a movie he himself is in? I don't know. But I'll tell you what's even more baffling than that is the name of this channel, Still Watching Netflix. That makes me feel like the service is absolutely on its way out. You have to, like, reassure people that there's still those of us out there still watching Netflix. Is the resub. Rivet, Pyre, and Tier 1 Red Hood. It's a play on the message, are you still watching? Oh. Well, it's just sad right now given the state of Netflix with like absolutely nothing worth watching, and now their password sharing crackdown, which is absolutely going to be detrimental in a big way for them. Now it's just sad. You think people will just find ways to watch for free now? Probably, I imagine, or just not bother. I don't think their catalog's strong enough to have people fucking like frothing at the mouth trying to figure out how to watch it. There's the Bits Girth and Evergreen. The student at the center of the UC Davis stabbings was fighting with his lawyer on the stand and kept demanding that he be able to represent himself. Holy shit. And no, I haven't seen that Evergreen. And the resub Toto. I've been playing a little bit Toto. I made a runic deck because I wanted to try this stupid deck out with it. It's a prime enemy. It didn't do very well. You see the Inside Edition video of the elderly guy that tap danced his way out of a traffic ticket. Elderly man gives cop dancing lesson during traffic stop.
That's awesome.
This man danced himself right
He's
out
dancing
of
for his
traffic
freedom
ticket.
right now.
Body cam from a police officer in Pickens, South Carolina, shows how the roadside performance went down. The officer says she stopped the man for failure to maintain lane, and she noticed his shoes made a music of their own.
I hear. I hear.
Aww.
No.
Well, this southern gentleman was about to give her a lesson right
He seems
there on the
nice.
side of the road.
All right, now I'm going to show you how it's done. Right here.
Okay.
All right, now take one backward and two frontward.
2 frontwards.
But this officer was much more interested in seeing
This is
what
cool.
clogging is all about, and the man happily obliged.
Can you do?
My dad used to clog. I need to. I'm gonna text him right now. I need to
The
get
man
him
was let
clogging.
off with a
I want
warning,
to see how
and
that
this
goes.
officer had a fun night at work.
All right. Well, you're.
That's cute. That's just like actually so fucking wholesome. Here's the bits milk and the resub zolotl. The bits potato. Yeah, I got bolt gun pulled up. I just don't know if I'll play it tonight or anything. It's a prime burrito. You see, killer whales are starting to teach their young to attack/sink boats. Oh boy, they're rising up. I think we all knew it was just a waste of time, or a matter of time. And yeah, we just talked about it, Skyline. Well, briefly. The War Thunder stuff. You hear about HBO Max drama. HBO Max switched to Max as a platform, but it's not yet available in every country yet. HBO Max subscribers are still paying. People who can't access it are paying for a platform that doesn't exist. Oof. Also, it's a stupid name. It's a totally unnecessary name change. I did not see Kitchen Nightmares is coming back. That's cool though. Thanks, Resub Ted. No, I haven't even heard of that one, Potato. It's because people were confusing the channel for the streaming service. Is that really such a bad thing? Wait, actually I'm confused. What do you mean the channel for the streaming service? Oh, you're talking about the cable channel. Oh, gotcha. I see. Thanks, Resub Ozarok. No, what's the name of the Starship Trooper game? I'll look it up right now before I forget. The movie game that's actually good, Starship Troopers Extraction. Let me just see a trailer. Exit Tier 1, enough said.
Earth's best and brightest land on planet Balaka. The mobile infantry ready to engage against the bug menace. Elite Deep Space Vanguard troopers deploy state-of-the-art subsurface scanners to find the bug hives and win the day. Get on the line! The base is under attack!
So it's just wave defense?
Gas up there now!
Multiple
Here's the resub head snake. It's great, it's difficult. Western Earth Defense Force. Like, do the weapons get crazy like Earth Defense Force? Basically kill aliens. Yeah, I was able to put that together. I was able to figure that out. Yeah. I don't know, I'm not a huge wave shooter guy, but maybe it's worth a try. Thanks the resub. In please. Yep. We're gonna check out the Summoning Salt Halo 2 records. I was talking to him earlier. He actually told me about this a couple months... Well, it was like only a little over a month ago. And I've been so hyped for him to drop it. I still think Halo 2's got such a fucking good speedrun route. The tech in this game is amazing. Thanks to resub, Olivia, in the Prime
If you've
chum.
ever tried playing Halo 2 on Legendary difficulty, you know that it's one of gaming's most brutal challenges. It goes way beyond
It is one of the
hardest
most
settings
difficult,
most
hardest
games.
settings.
Enemies are stronger, they're more plentiful, and they kill you almost instantly. Beating Halo 2 on Legendary is a serious achievement. But one group of gamers takes it a step further. They strive to beat Halo 2 Legendary as fast as physically possible, and through thousands of collective hours from the game's best players, they've taken the record to unimaginable levels.
God, it's so
This is the
optimized.
history of Halo 2 world records.
I don't think he touches on it in this video, if I had to guess, but there was actually so much controversy with some of the early Halo 2 runs. In fact, I recall vaguely, I can't remember the details. Bungie ran a competition for, like, beating Halo 2 the fastest, and there was a guy who completely fucking fabricated everything. He cheated. And he was hyped up as, like, the best in the game ever, like, the ultimate Halo 2 gamer, and then he had to do it live one time, and he couldn't even beat it. Like, he couldn't even beat the fucking run a single time. Like, he couldn't even beat the game. I can't remember his name, but it was such a great video on it, I think... who was it? I watched so much Halo 2 history like 5 or 6 months ago. Who posted that video? It was a great documentary. It was Rocket Sloth. Okay. Yeah, Rocket Sloth made a whole video on it. It's so good. There was a lot of controversy on like the early Halo speedrunning stuff. Cody Miller. Yep. I don't remember where to go. Yeah. Billy Mitchell. Nah, Billy Mitchell hasn't touched anything outside of a fucking arcade cabinet. Couldn't have been Billy. Billy should start, like, actually just speedrunning every game. I may have cheated in everything else, but I swear to God, I'm legit when it comes to Hello Neighbor 2 speedrunning.
And now a word from this video's sponsor, Xbox Game Pass.
Speedrun RuneScape.
Valheim is now available to play on Xbox with Game Pass. And to celebrate, they're hosting a new speedrun competition. And you can participate right now. Here are the rules.
Oh wait,
The goal
chat
is to
told me
kill a
about this.
troll as fast as possible. Timing starts when the character takes their first step, and ends on the frame the troll dies.
It feels like it won't be that
It must
hard.
be on a new game with a new Viking, using the World Seed Game Pass, and it must be a solo run. All exploits and glitches are banned. The fastest 3 submissions will receive special rewards blessed by Odin himself. 1 of 3 custom controllers. To participate, Upload a video of your run to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok.
Charlie, do
the
it.
Title
I'm not
must
good at
include
Valheim.
hashtag Game Pass Valheim speedrun, and the video must be from your Xbox. The deadline is 5:59 p.m. Pacific Time on May 27th. See if you can enshrine yourself in speedrunning history.
This is a great sponsor. Whoever was in charge of this sponsorship really fucking nailed the placement here. This fits right at home on a Summoning Salt video, and that is like an actual great challenge. I think that's cool.
With hundreds of high-quality games like Valheim available on release day.
Thanks to the bits deal.
Discover your next favorite game with Xbox Game Pass.
And the resub Lauren. And not like a full lore video.
Halo 2 has had a thriving speedrun scene ever since its release in 2004. Players competed on both individual levels and the full game on each of the 4 difficulty modes.
Tier 1.
While all these records were lowered over time, the most prestigious one was the full game Legendary speedrun, thanks to its incredible difficulty. Halo 2 Legendary was featured at GDQ events, and videos were shared all over the internet. It was a very popular speedrun. But the actual record timeline is another story. From 2004 through 2014, Halo 2's legendary world record was near continuously held by one player, Mr. Monopoly.
Yeah!
Monopoly became synonymous with Halo speedruns, holding records and playing the game at live events. But the timeline of the world record itself isn't all that interesting. Monopoly got the Halo 2 record in 2006 and remained dominant for the next 8 years.
Great run.
However, in June 2014, the Halo community got a big surprise. 343 Industries announced Halo the Master Chief Collection.
And the bigger surprise was the fact that it didn't work. Well, I guess actually all the campaigns worked fine. They were just the multiplayer didn't function for like 5 years.
A compilation of all the mainline Halo games. And to celebrate Halo 2's 10th anniversary, 343 was going to remaster it as Halo 2 Anniversary, with graphical upgrades and a few other changes. And it just so happens that members of their development team were speedrun fans. Big enough fans that they flew out Goat Rope and Monopoly, top speedrunners for the first 2 Halo games, to help playtest the games a few months before their release.
That's pretty cool.
They spent about 20 hours playtesting, then sat down with 343's franchise writer to name achievements after top Halo speedrunners. And fittingly,
that's actually
the
super
achievement
cool
for beating Halo 2 Legendary quickly enough, monopolized. It's clear that from the get-go, 343 Industries designed Halo the Master Chief Collection with speedrunning in mind. While most of the games included were essentially identical to their original release, Halo 2 Anniversary was sufficiently different that it became its own speedrun category. So, right at the game's release in November 2014, players began running Halo 2 Anniversary. Monopoly and a runner named HockeyFan48 traded the legendary record back and forth in the first few days. But the first run we're going to look at came a few weeks later. Halo 2 Legendary, completed in 2 hours and 17 minutes by none other than Mr. Monopoly. First off, Monopoly went into this run expecting to die. A lot.
That's where the world records always happen.
To have a deathless playthrough of Halo 2 on Legendary, unless you're going slowly and being extremely careful. Fortunately, there are checkpoints throughout each level, so when you die, you can quickly enter the menu and revert to the last checkpoint. But Monopoly didn't have to worry about dying too much in the first level, the Armory,
which is
essentially a 2.5 minute cutscene that serves as a tutorial. Given the length of the run, we won't talk about every level in depth right now, but Cairo Station is the first real level, and Monopoly did his best to move quickly and ignore as many enemies as possible. When he had to fight them, he tried to clear out the elites quickly with an overcharged plasma pistol shot, then a headshot from the battle rifle. He also
there is a huge difference in the route, by the way, between Classic and Anniversary. This was like in the Bounty, when we did the Bounty for the skulls and all of that. In Classic, Cairo plays very different. You don't have to bother with this because you can do some wall clips fundamentally where you can skip. So what you saw right here in Classic, what you can do is you can bounce into this box a lot to fuck up your hitbox and then walk right through that wall and skip like half that. And you can do that a couple, I think it's 2 more times in that level, and you basically get to the very end. In Anniversary, you can't. You can no longer do the hitbox adjustments.
Shot, but still had to.
So Anniversary's got a lot more fucking tender loving care you gotta give to the combat.
Next up was Outskirts, which has a famous intended trick from the developers. By doing a series of grenade jumps, where you throw a grenade and time a jump to get a boost upwards, you can get on top of the buildings and make it out of bounds. This lets you skip fighting a long wave of enemies on the ground. The second half of the stage involves a lot of driving, and Monopoly switched to the Warthog since the Marines soak up a lot of the damage and let you live longer.
Galaxy.
Eventually, Monopoly arrived at the Oracle. This is one of the longest levels in the run, with wave after wave of enemies to fight through. But he had tricks to help. On the elevator, you're normally supposed to slowly ride it all the way down.
But you jump off into the side.
If you wait for a death box to despawn, you can fall off the edge and land on the precise spot you need to continue the level. The rest of the level was a lot of clearing out enemies, and 5 deaths to go along with it. Delta Halo is one of the most broken levels in the game.
This level's so fucking good.
He started by jumping on the hillside to get on top, then hitting a trigger that allowed him to progress and continue on top of the hill. He then got in a ghost and was supposed to activate a bridge to get across this gap. But instead, he did this. It turns out, a grenade is strong enough to boost vehicles as well, and Monopoly was able to save half a minute. The next level is called Regret, and it features one of the biggest tricks in the run, Early Gondola. The intended route at the start is to work your way around the structures and platforms, then land on the middle platform, which acts as a trigger to send the gondola away. You can't ride it yet. After killing all the enemies, another gondola begins to come toward you, and once it arrives, you can hop on and ride it to progress through the level. It'd save a lot of time.
Super jumps are still in Halo 2, even in Anniversary.
You
can still super jump.
But as soon as you get near it,
there was super jumps in the Halo 2 Anniversary route at one point. I don't know if they ended up making the entire lifespan of the run though. But there were 2 like big super jumps you'd use.
It's gone. That's where Early Gondola comes into play. Monopoly used a careful jumping route to go straight to the gondola, including a slide jump, where you use the extra momentum from a slide to extend your jump across a gap. He then left the gondola to hit the edge of the trigger on the middle platform, then quickly got back on the gondola.
Watching this makes me think of what could have been with Halo Infinite. It's best not to think about it.
He had to avoid dying on the way from the enemies that spawned, but once he was in the clear, he had saved 2.5 minutes by not having to wait for the second gondola. Now, he did die 6 times throughout the level, but using Early Gondola at the start was able to make up for most of that.
6 deaths.
A few levels later came Gravemind, the longest and most notorious level in the run. To get an idea of what I mean, this is how the level begins on Legendary.
Wow.
And to clarify,
such a good level.
Monopoly knew this was coming. Even so, he struggled to take cover in time. And it's a good representation of the rest of the level. There are enemies everywhere, and Monopoly had to strike a balance between keeping moving and trying to stay alive. Gravemind ended up taking him over 26 minutes, and he died 34 times.
Oh!
He did have some tricks to help out, like jumping into a sloped rock so he could go out of bounds and walk above long hallways. This helped him avoid fighting certain enemies.
Makes you far away.
Monopoly also used a trick called Corridor Deload. During reinforcement battles, He stood in precise spots between waves to fool the game into thinking he was out of bounds, so the enemies didn't detect him and never spawned in. But even with tricks like this to help, he was overmatched. He died all throughout Gravemind, but eventually he did make it through. After a couple shorter levels in Uprising and High Charity, Monopoly arrived at the Great Journey, Halo 2's final level. He was able to despawn the Wraiths by simply driving away from them and hitting a checkpoint, and then went inside with
this
the
one's
Ghost.
pretty free.
He died several times while trying to navigate through, then got in the Banshee to wait and enter the final section of the level. Once inside, he took out the enemies, took out the final boss, and the run was complete.
I'm actually a little surprised Summoning Salt didn't touch on this glitch. I guess this is going into with the assumption that you know the glitches, because there was... Like, you're not usually supposed to have the Banshee there. So what you have to do is when you get the Banshee, you, like, drive it into the side of the building, you just fucking wait for the Scarab to come through and trigger the cutscene, and then when the cutscene triggers and you start the final fight, the Banshee clips into the side there, and you can just pick it up and ride it. It's cool. All the glitches in Halo 2 are so fucking cool.
Monopoly died 66 times throughout the game's 14 levels, with more than half of those coming in Gravemind alone. That's Halo 2 on Legendary for you. But to be fair, Monopoly was at a disadvantage. He was the Halo 2 Classic record holder, and this was Halo 2 Anniversary. That meant adjusting to slightly different physics, tricks, and enemy behavior. Monopoly is one of the best to ever play Halo 2, but 66 deaths obviously wasn't the end goal.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement.
He left the Halo 2 Anniversary record up for grabs, as after this
Thanks
run,
Prime Auto.
he went back to playing Halo 2 Classic. In fact, that's what most of the community did. Despite Halo 2 Classic having a history dominated by Monopoly, it remained the more popular speedrun. And there's a specific reason why. See, when 343 remastered Halo 2, they based it off of a patched version of the game. As a result, many glitches from the original game weren't present. It may have seemed like a good move at the time, but for speedrunners, these glitches were used all over the place. So, since Halo 2 Anniversary couldn't be optimized like Classic could, many runners simply ignored it. That being said, it wasn't completely abandoned. A community of runners still played Halo 2 Anniversary, trying to better optimize the run with fewer deaths and faster movement. Numerous world records were set, and the time came down quickly. But sadly, from 2015 through 2017, nearly no legendary world record videos survive.
Nearly no work was done on the game at the time either. In general,
especially ones that were world records. Twitch automatically saved them as past broadcasts for a while, but those eventually were deleted, and no records were ever highlighted or uploaded to YouTube. Although we can't watch these runs today, we do thankfully know what the timeline was. Here's what survives of the early Halo 2 Anniversary.
We had to go to the ancient texts for it.
In early 2015, speedrunner Cryphon set a series of world records, ultimately taking the time to 2:03:58. Cryphon was a former competitive Halo player, and got into Halo 2 speedruns after seeing the speedrunning achievements that 343 added. He spent a few months playing Halo 2 Anniversary, lowered the record, then moved on to playing Halo 2 Classic. A few months later, Andy's Mountain came along. He got into running the game the same way Cryphon did, seeing the speedrun achievements and trying it out
Achievements
himself.
were such a cool thing
And
back in the day.
Throughout June 2015, he took the record from 2:03 to 2 hours flat. Finally, a few months later, Nazar23 took the top spot. He was big into speedrunning individual levels, especially Regret, setting numerous records there for Halo 2 Anniversary. He didn't have much interest in running the full game, but eventually he was persuaded to try it. And Nazar23 wound up getting the first sub 2 hour run in the game's history. later lowering the time
Goddamn
to
Spartan.
1:56. Late in 2016, a pretty big change was made. The community voted to subtract loads from the final time, since they could vary slightly from runner to runner. That took about 6 minutes off of all runs, meaning the world record was now retimed as a 150. And about a year after this change, one final record was set, a 149 from speedrunner Jervalen.
Hey,
for a few
Jerv!
months and saw his chance
Huge.
to take the top spot. So, this is Halo 2 Anniversary's early timeline.
That's the
An
guy that
irregular
did the
progression,
$20,000
with
bounty I
bursts of
set.
activity followed by months of silence. It's unfortunate that no videos survived, but at least the history is preserved. But
That's
finally,
the fucking boy
in
wonder.
April 2018, Jervalen came in clutch. He set a new world record and saved the video. This is the first time we can watch a Halo 2 anniversary record in over 3 years. We last saw the record at 217. Now, it's down to 146. This is gonna look pretty different.
It's gonna be a different game.
Well, right from the get-go, he was more aggressive. All throughout the run, Jervalen attacked enemies more directly instead of hanging back. In Cairo alone, the first real level, this saved him 45 seconds.
Woo!
While playing more aggressively can be faster, you do run the risk of dying more. But Jervalen improved in that department too. He saved nearly 3 minutes over the following 3 levels by reducing the amount of deaths. Another major area of improvement was new strategies. Many of these had been slowly implemented over the last 3.5 years, but this is the first time we can see them in a run. And some are pretty huge.
They're all huge.
In Oracle, Jervalen sent the elevator up, then got underneath it and sent it back down.
Yep, and that
The
shoots you to the
result
top.
was him being launched into the air, shooting through the elevator shaft to the top rather than having to ride it. This saves 10 seconds on its own, but also has an important side effect.
You get
The
to be
game makes you
invincible.
invincible in the elevator shaft, and since the elevator never reaches the top, the trigger to take your invincibility away is never hit. So, you're invincible for the remainder of the level. This trick is called the pressure launch, and was found by none other than Mr. Monopoly. Delta Halo was also drastically changed. The level has 5 triggers that must be hit, and Jervalen was able to hit them, then work his way out of bounds to take shortcuts. As long as he activated all the triggers, he was able
look
to
at that
scale
focus
mountains
on
and cut
Jerv's
corners
face.
all day. He did this more than Monopoly did, and was able to skip fighting many enemies. But the biggest strategy overhaul came in Halo 2's final level, the Great Journey. You need to get the Spectre inside the final room. Normally, that's
The
not
Johnsons.
possible, since the Spectre travels on the ground and the door to enter is high in the sky. But by parking it in a safe space earlier in the
Thanks for your
level,
sub, Scott.
then hopping back in later and riding along the right side ridge, you can stop on top and wait for the Scarab to break open the door. The ending trigger extends out of the building, so you can precisely let the Spectre drop down and fall into the cutscene. If done properly, the Spectre will survive and make it inside. And once there, you can perform one of Halo 2's finest tricks,
Love this one.
Johnson cloning. Johnson,
Thanks for
one
your
of the
sub,
AI
certain.
Marines, is able to repeatedly lower the final boss's shield so you can inflict damage. Johnson only shoots the boss so often, limiting your abilities to damage him. So, let's find a way to create more Johnsons. By forcing Johnson to get in the Spectre, the game detects he's not in the level and spawns another one.
That's so
By
good.
forcing that Johnson to get in, the process repeats. And you can create infinite Johnsons,
God
although
damn
each
right.
additional one costs more time. Eventually, the game spawns one final Johnson, and you take the other 3 Johnsons to the middle platform in the Spectre. All 4 Johnsons attack the boss, his shields are lowered more often, and the fight is complete in a fraction of the time. Thanks to Johnson cloning and other tricks across the run, Jervalen had a massive leg up on Monopoly. But the biggest difference wasn't new strategies. It was the amount of deaths. Monopoly died 66 times in his run.
Jervalen died like 20, I bet.
How many deaths did Jervalen have? 9.
No!
Jervalen's 146 didn't last on top too long. Even though much of the community was focused on Halo 2 Classic, there was still one top runner who kept his attention on the remake. His name was By Nails, and almost immediately, he began setting records in Halo 2 Anniversary. That May, he beat Jervalen's run by about 3 minutes.
Ooh,
there wasn't much
bad
in the way of new strategies, but there's a couple levels in particular where he saved big time. Quarantine Zone, the level directly before Gravemind, can be a major run killer. The final 5 minutes are essentially an auto-scroller, but the first section involves doing some extremely careful driving. You have to go
sucks.
from room to room, dodging enemies as much as possible and hoping you don't get sniped. Deaths can be very costly depending on your last checkpoint, and although Jervalen died once, Nails was able to drive faster and avoid dying, so he saved a full minute. Now, on average, Nails did die more across the run, 11 deaths versus Jervalen's 9. But his deaths were less costly, and he played faster elsewhere. In Oracle, he had small time saves while in combat that added up to roughly half a minute. And in Gravemind, despite dying 5 times, he actually gained time over Jervalen. It's an important lesson in Halo 2 speedrunning. Deaths can be costly,
Hammer and John.
yes, but if you're aggressive enough with your play, the time save from being faster can outweigh a few extra deaths. Nails had a great run, but as mentioned earlier, the community's attention was elsewhere. Without the glitches that Halo 2 Classic had, most runners just viewed Halo 2 Anniversary as a sideshow. Despite some solid recent records from Jervalen and
I will
Nails,
say I do think Halo 2
top
Classic
runners
is a
put
cooler
most
game to
of their
run.
efforts into the original game. That's the way it had been for years, and it showed no signs of stopping. But then, in August 2018, 343 Industries made an announcement that changed everything.
Yes, sir.
Just shy of 4 years after the game's release, 343 modified Halo 2 Anniversary's mechanics. There were a handful of minor changes, but the most relevant one for speedrunners? They added glitches from Halo 2 Classic back into the game.
God damn right.
It's time to introduce you to Sword Tech.
But like I said, the one thing that they never got back into the game, because they couldn't, is the hitbox adjusting thing from Halo 2 Classic Ghosting, where you keep hitting something into your hitbox and then you can just phase through walls. It's really mainly useful in only like the first level Cairo, well, Cairo and a couple other places, but it's huge. Like, it is huge.
When Halo 2 Classic was released in 2004, it had one particularly game-breaking glitch. You lock onto an enemy with a
sword
weapon,
canceling,
then switch to the energy sword, and cancel the animation of the switch by reloading right as it starts. This creates a 2-frame window where the energy sword turns into a long-range weapon and can lock onto that same faraway enemy. If you lunge in that tiny window, you'll go flying across the map. This can be done throughout the run, and variations can save even more time.
There's Prime Grizz.
You can jump while flying to get more air, and soar past nearby enemies by adding in a jump and action input. Bungie patched Sword Tech out of Halo 2 in 2005, and when 343 remastered the game, they followed suit. But in 2018, with most of the speedrun community ignoring Halo 2 Anniversary, Sword Tech was reintroduced. A rare instance of developers adding glitches intentionally. And it worked.
343W, very rare. Very rare.
Began paying attention to Halo 2 Anniversary. Within months, it would surpass the popularity of Halo 2 Classic. But right away, it was clear that the world record would be shattered. Sword Tech saves several minutes across the run. You not only gain time by flying through the air, but also reduce your odds of dying by skipping over enemies on the ground. The record wasn't going to remain at 143 for long, and in October 2018, the first world record with Sword Tech was set.
Cryphon?
137.25 by Cryphon.
Yep, sounds about right.
Cryphon did sword flying all over the run. A couple big ones were in Cairo, skipping having to traverse the outside sections. There were a few smaller ones in Arbiter and Oracle, but the most significant one came in Regret. Instead of having to slowly ride on the first gondola,
you get to skip the gondolas.
Cryphon got a bit over halfway through, locked onto a faraway enemy, and took off. There were a handful of other significant sword flies later, particularly in Gravemind. But Sword Tech wasn't the only change made in the patch. 343 made slight modifications to the entire physics engine, making it more in line with Halo 2 Classic. So, one other broken mechanic was inadvertently added back in: butterflying. By getting an enemy in position right above you, you can melee and then cancel to preserve your momentum and travel around through the air. This is used in two major places. In Gravemind, you're supposed to go down the elevator
but you
to
can
play
butterfly
the
up with
section,
a brute,
then go back up and resume the rest of the level. But instead, by luring an enemy over and falling with him on top of you, you can butterfly back upwards by repeatedly melee canceling to activate the elevator that takes you back up.
It's so good. I love these fucking
The game thinks
glitches.
the prison section is complete, and you save 3 to 4 minutes by not even having to go down there. Prison Skip was found by Mr. Monopoly in 2016, but couldn't be applied to Halo 2 Anniversary until now.
This works! I did it! I skipped Gravemind Prison! This is Gravemind Prison Skip!
The other trick is in High Charity, Halo 2's second to last level.
You skip the whole
ending
level.
Portion of High Charity is actually right below where you begin. So if you lure an enemy over and begin butterflying off the edge, you can time your melee so that you have a controlled descent down to the ending. You also have to navigate to the side at times, and it can be quite tricky. But if done properly, you'll skip playing the level and save close to 3 minutes. The trigger for High Charity Skip was found by a player named Nibre, while several others made the trick a reality.
God, it's such a good trick.
The modern setup was found by Monopoly. With sword flies, prison skip, and High Charity Skip,
how do people find some of these glitches? Butterflying was actually discovered when I was a child. Like, when I was playing Halo 2 on Xbox Live, I used to go on Headlong and butterfly with my friends. You just go out of bounds with it. These glitches were found way back then, and they're glitches you could find by accident. So, like sword canceling, basically, you like, who wouldn't like try and melee and then switch a weapon or reload or something, right? Like, it's just one of those things where you could easily find it by accident. But trying to apply it to something like speedrunning is where it gets really crazy. That's when you have to get super creative.
Cryphon had the potential to save over 10 minutes, but his run was only a 6-minute improvement. He died 19 times, and most sections of the run were slower outside of the new strategies. It was an unoptimized time, understandable given that it was the first world record after the patch. With Sword Tech being possible, the community was more excited about Halo 2 Anniversary than ever before. The strategies had been found. Now, they had to optimize the record. Over the following few months, Nails took the time down to 1 hour and 32 minutes. Nails had turned into an
Drew gets the first one or sub 130.
Record, and to this day, he's considered to be the greatest Halo speedrunner of all time. He's gotten top times in every main game and has held the record in several. Back in late 2018, he was focused on Halo 2 Anniversary and took 5 minutes off the record, starting with a 135 and then getting a 132. Nails didn't do much different from Cryphon, but he did die less, 13 times versus Cryphon's 19. Was that really enough for such a large record improvement? Well, 5 minutes might seem like a pretty big difference, but that's because of the nature of Halo 2 Legendary. It's an incredibly difficult speedrun to optimize. There's too many places to die, and it's inevitable that things will go wrong. Since deaths cost roughly 30 seconds on average, it's easy to see why there was so much room for time save. Just 5 days after Nails' 132, another 3 minutes came off the record. A runner named Rocats got the first sub 130 in the game's history. Rocats got into the game in 2016, but like so many others, he returned once sword flying was patched back in. He grinded for a few months in late 2018, and in January 2019, he got a 129.55 with only 8 deaths.
We're catching up to modern day.
Most of his time save came early, and the only death in the first half was a nearly unavoidable snipe in Metro. He bled time in Gravemind due to 6 deaths, but played Great Journey much more aggressively. He did sword tech faster and stopped to kill fewer enemies. The record was in a good spot, being under 130. But despite the progress, there was still room for improvement. Tricks could be cleaner and combat could be smoother. So, Rocats continued to play. And over the following several months, this is what he did.
Oh, look at him go! A man possessed.
By early 2021, the time was down to 126.34. A decent chunk of time save came from the Regret boss fight, where he had an extremely clean kill in his 126.39. You have to board him 5 times and reach a damage threshold each time. He can spawn in 8 different locations after each cycle, and if he spawns far away and you get unlucky with other enemy spawns, you can die very easily. But in this run, Rocats had an extremely quick fight, with no deaths and close spawns from the boss. For years, Halo 2 Classic had dwarfed Halo 2 Anniversary in popularity. But how the turntables. Thanks to the patch, Halo 2 Anniversary had surpassed Halo 2 Classic. As expected, competition at the top started to increase. A player named Firebanch became the second runner to cut 130 in early 2021. But Rocats ultimately prevailed, getting a 124 in August 2021 with a faster boss kill in Great Journey. By September, Rocats had held the record for close to 3 years straight and showed no signs of giving it up.
That was a pretty good run at the top.
But then, the Halo 2 community voted to make an interesting rule change.
Rocats isn't allowed to play anymore.
Halo 2 starts with a level called the Armory, which is basically a 2.5 minute cutscene. There's no enemies, and time saves are extremely minimal. It's pretty frustrating to have to begin every speedrun attempt with this level. So, in September 2021, the community set up a vote to determine if it could just be skipped, and all speedruns could start on level 2, Cairo. Many old school runners were against removing Armory, and remain against it to this day. But in the end, the community chose to remove it, and all Halo 2 runs could now start from Cairo. This changed a lot. For one thing, all runs were now 2.5 minutes faster, so the world record was retimed as a 122. But it also changed how runs were done going forward. You could get a good run going much more easily, as you didn't have to replay Armory every time you wanted to start over. Cairo could be better optimized, and ultimately, the entire run could be too. Removing Armory was certainly a controversial decision, but it brought a new wave of popularity to the speedrun. A couple months after the rule change,
was there speed tech that you
got
hate
a great run going.
in Halo?
He hadn't held the record in over 3 years.
In general,
he was going to have a chance at this. He saved a big chunk early in Cairo and never looked back, slowly gaining time over the following levels. The important Swordflies and Regret went well, as did the boss fight. And after a gold split on Sacred Icon, he was nearly 2 minutes ahead, and on pace for a 123. He entered Quarantine Zone, 5 levels from the end. But then...
oh, disaster.
A couple untimely deaths and some slow navigating meant Cryphon's lead nearly entirely vanished. His world record chance was gone, but he still got a nice personal best out of it.
That's tragic.
But Rocats had better look out. With Armory being removed from timing, other runners were more determined than ever to get the world record. In particular, there were 3 of them. Cryphon was in second place, and we've seen how much potential he had. He'd been dominating Halo 2 Classic for years, and with a better Quarantine Zone, he would have had the Halo 2 Anniversary record as well. In third place was a runner named Sinister. He'd been running the game for a couple years, slowly lowering himself into world record contention. And while he was still 5 minutes behind the record, he had the potential to get it with a really strong run. And finally, there was Zoo. He was originally a Halo 3 runner, but later started focusing on Halo 2 Anniversary with Cryphon as his mentor. He was the farthest from the record, with his main goal being to beat Cryphon and get second place. But Zoo had one advantage over his competitor. You gotta shoot for the stars. Thanks to a trick he went for right as the speedrun begins. Tram skip. At the start of Cairo, there's a tram that leaves behind you. It passes by a later section of the level, so if you can just go where the tram's headed, you can skip the first part of Cairo. Problem is, there's an invisible barrier that pushes you back, and it doesn't disappear until after a door closes that you also can't pass through. If you try to approach the barrier, you'll get pushed back through the open door. There's no way to make it through. Well, in 2019, Nails found a way around this, and in 2020, Monopoly improved upon it with an easier method. You start by shooting your teammates until just before they turn and aggro to you. You then push a Marine into the corner of the tram, and as he rides away, you follow him. By spamming melee, he'll become an enemy, and you can cling to him as the tram passes through the door.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Once the barrier disappears, you're free to move forward through the rest of the level. This saves 45 seconds as you don't have to play the start of Cairo, but it comes with a catch. Your teammates will try to kill you for the remainder of the level. This isn't too problematic on easy mode, but on legendary, your teammates kill you fast. So, despite being discovered years earlier, it wasn't used in full game runs. Until Zoo came along. He had a lot of runs die early, but he had a 45-second advantage by going for it. So, in short, all 3 of these runners had a chance to get the record. Let the competition begin. Well, in May 2022, Zoo struck first, getting a 124.29.
That's like
with
really
just
recent.
One personal best, he had nearly accomplished his goal of beating Cryphon. The run wasn't on record pace for too long, but this was still a remarkable time. Zoo was starting to make a name for himself in Halo 2.
At this point, when I had the 124, I wasn't really looking to get record at the time. My main goal at that point was just to bop Cryphon, like a student becomes a teacher type of thing.
When he ended up getting the 124, I think his goal was to just bop me at the time, like you mentioned.
He even said the same word, yeah.
That he can get whatever time he wants, and the torch is his to take.
With this run, it was now clear. Zoo was the odds-on favorite to get the record. Despite taking a break to play more Halo 3, where he set that legendary world record, Zoo quickly came back to Halo 2, and on May 28th, he was able to get on an excellent run. He pulled further and further ahead. After Quarantine Zone, he was minutes ahead of his personal best, but he still had to get through
Gravemind.
Like, Gravemind is like the main run killer, you know, like everyone just fears Gravemind. I had like a 920 Gravemind, which is pretty good for a full game legendary run. So after I finished that, I was getting nervous. I was kind of getting shaky. This run actually had a shot to get record.
When they enter the last level, it's exciting. Like, at least as a long-time runner of the game, like your heartbeat gets way up there with them because you know just how much pressure they have on themselves and just how much pressure there is to perform.
But unfortunately, he couldn't lock it down this time.
He got soft locked.
122.37, just 17 seconds behind.
I know you just
record.
missed it. Looked
You know,
like
I
he was
missed
soft
record
locked.
by 17 seconds at the time, but I was really excited to
I don't think you can actually
get a PB that close to record.
I don't think you can get
I was
soft
pretty
locked
happy
without
with
the
it. I was
black
pretty motivated by it to
black
kind of
eye
keep
skull.
going.
I think is the one,
So,
right?
Zoo continued onward. He didn't play for a few weeks thanks to Moistcritical's Deathless Lasso challenge, but
yeah.
afterwards he got back to it. And on August 7th, he was on another remarkable pace, gaining time in level after level. After Sacred Icon, his lead was nearly a full minute, way ahead of world record pace. But unfortunately, Quarantine Zone did not go well, and an untimely death in Gravemind.
They all
was
competed in the
nail
challenge.
coffin.
Well, pretty much all of them.
I mean, as a longtime Halo 2 runner, that's like classic Halo 2 legendary speedrunning. You will lose every single run, or at least a majority of them, to Quarantine Zone through Great Journey.
This was now 2 huge record chances that he'd missed. He was starting to let it slip away. And right on cue, Cryphon and Sinister started to close in. Just 3 days apart, they set new personal bests of a low 124 and a low 125.
I saw, hey, I still have what it takes, I guess.
Thanks, Risa Augusto.
And I might have a shot at it.
I was still like kind of motivated to grind it, but yeah, I was like losing hope a little bit.
A couple more weeks passed, with nothing from Zoo. But finally, he was able to get on another good run. He started with Tram Skip, then kept it close over the following levels. Oracle and Regret were both solid, and he ended up with a gold split on Sacred Icon. Things were looking pretty good.
Twig in MRP.
He was getting into Gravemind at a pretty good time, actually. You know, you look at his run, he says, here it comes as soon as the Gravemind load happens.
Alright, here it comes. Pray for me.
Gravemind was okay, with 5 deaths, but he followed it up with 2 more really good splits. Through it all, Zoo wound up being ahead going into Great Journey, nice. A level where he had even more time to save.
Seeing how far ahead he was of the record actually entering it and how much time he had to play with, all I'm thinking in my head right here is, you've done this a million times before, just hold it down.
Way to be
Time
supportive.
to lose. Do not full tilt if Great Journey trolls you. All you need to do is hang on, and you got this.
It wasn't the best, it wasn't the cleanest, but it was good enough to pull out the record.
Did I do it?
Nice.
Oh my god, let's go. Barely a 121 as well.
Oh, I don't feel pressure when
More so than
speedrunning,
anything,
but I
finally
speedrun
the
dog
record, I was
shit
just
games.
relieved.
Like actual dog
He
shit.
had finally broken
That no
through
one
the
cares
barrier.
about.
He had finally taken his first record, and the sky's the limit at this point, you know? All he has to do now is go wherever he wants to.
Zoo had the record, but he admitted in the description that he didn't expect to hang on to it for long. Rocats was still around, and Cryphon and Sinister weren't far behind. So, despite having accomplished his goal, he continued to do runs. And to shake things up a bit, he decided to start going for a new, incredibly risky strategy in Regret. The gondola launch.
Yeah, that's such a cool launch.
You start by getting on the first gondola at the start of Regret. While on it, you can deload the Phantom by repeatedly meleeing. This delays the checkpoint, which in turn deletes the Phantom when it reaches the middle platform. As a byproduct of all this, a timer starts on the second gondola, and when it runs out, it'll travel back to the start. Once you get to the middle platform, you push the button and finish killing the enemies. This acts as a trigger to send the second gondola forward. So the second gondola now has two commands, one to send it back and one to send it forward. And if these commands overlap within a roughly 1 second window, the game doesn't know what to do. So it deloads the gondola entirely.
It's not an easy
and
trick.
The strange result of this, if you're standing on the gondola, you'll get launched through the air. Nails figured out how to do this back in 2018, but for years it was considered too risky to do in legendary runs. You save a good 30 to 40 seconds by not having to wait to do the sword fly, but missing it costs nearly 2 minutes. Risky as it was, Zoo decided it was time to try implementing it in his runs. It would undoubtedly cause more runs to die at regret, but the 40
Which
second
sucks, is that's
time save
30
was
minutes
too good
wasted.
to pass up. It could lead to some crazy paces. Well, on September 26th, Zoo got on a run with the gondola launch. It pushed him over a minute ahead of the world record. This was a fantastic opportunity. But it got even more serious when he got a gold split on Gravemind, the fastest he had ever done it in a run. With just 3 levels to go,
that was a really
he
great
was 2 minutes ahead of the record. This was a chance for a sub 120, a time that seemed unthinkable to Zoo just weeks ago. All he needed was to get through 3 more levels. He just had to close it out. And well, here's how it went. In High Charity, he tried to lure the Flood over so he could do High Charity skip.
No shot he blows High Charity
and
skip.
had to revert. He succeeded on the second try, but accidentally pushed
Oh
him off
no,
the ledge.
he's fucking up High Charity!
His time loss is hurt, yet he still retained a minute lead. But Great Journey was even worse. He died 3 times, including twice while driving the Spectre.
No!
He still finished the run off as a world record, but it was nowhere near what it could have been. This was starting to become a habit for Zoo. He was getting crazy paces late into runs, and things went wrong in the final couple levels to derail it. But this run did make one thing clear. Sub 120 was now the ultimate goal for Halo 2. Zoo had been on pace for it. Now, he just needed a clean ending.
Thanks to the resub, Edgar.
Well, a
and the
few
Prime,
weeks later,
Oberon.
he got on a run that fell behind in the middle levels. He had to revert to the last checkpoint 5 times in regret, despite getting the gondola launch. He also had a slower ending to Sacred Icon, and couldn't match the gold split in Gravemind of his last run. Zoo was running against balanced splits that he had made, but in reality, he was about 45 seconds behind the record going into High Charity. But he knew he could save that time in the final 2 levels. And despite dying once in High Charity, he managed to save over a minute in the end to get the record. The final time was 1:20:56. A solid record, but now it had the opposite problem. A weak middle game with a really strong ending. In order to get
the ending's just the main one that matters. You're always going to get good middles at this level.
From start to finish. But Zoo wasn't discouraged.
He's too
pressed
good to
onward,
fuck up.
More determined than ever to get the sub 120. And the very next day after this 1:20:56, this happened.
Wait, October 15th.
I was feeling very good about it from the very start because I got my Cairo was a 440, and that was individual level record for Cairo. So right off the bat, I was like motivated to keep it going. Got it. Decent regret this time. Got the time save, or a lot of the time save I needed for that mission.
When he built up this big time pool into Gravemind,
Skynet,
you're kind of like, you don't want to set your expectations too high, but then he got a really good Gravemind. I think it was like a 905. That's just insane. So he's suddenly on this incredibly sick pace, and you're just hoping that it survives.
At that point, I was getting nervous again. I was letting the nerves starting to get to me.
12 levels into the run, Zoo had amassed a 1 minute and 23 second lead.
No shot he dies in
Great
Great Journey again. That's a fluke dying there.
And a 119.
That's an act of God.
There was still so much that could go wrong.
Nah.
At this point, when he entered
Great Journey's free.
that far ahead, I was super nervous for him. He can either get his goal, he can be happy, or it's going to be the most heartbreaking run of his life. Having done some of those runs myself, I know it's not over until the final cutscene plays on Great Journey, and unfortunately, that's kind of how this run played out.
Oh no! Not again, Zoo! Not again!
Your heart sinks, and it's just tragic to watch.
Despite the deaths, the run still finished as a world record.
But
Zoo
not
had
sub
missed the
120,
sub
so it's
120
worthless.
By just 14 seconds.
Meaningless!
Like, can I just get it already? Can I stop choking the last mission and just clutch it out?
The good news was that Zoo now had 50 seconds to save in the final level. So once again, if he could just get there on a reasonable pace, he could save a bunch of time and get the record.
I've got a good feeling about November 3rd here.
58-25 split out of QZ, Quarantine Zone. People consider like a sub 1 hour out of QZ to be very good. I remember having like a 58-25, like this run's pretty nuts right now. This one could be it. It could be the one.
As long as he can stay close to his PB, he knows he's got a ton of time to save in Great Journey, almost a minute in fact.
And Great Journey's
this
free.
Run was shaping up just for that.
You never fuck up Great Journey 4 times.
I was 10 seconds behind going into Great Journey, but I had a minute of time save. There's so much time to save. This run should definitely be it. On top of that, I was streaming, so I was like excited to get the sub 120 in front of everyone watching.
And he did it. Oh yeah, it's a good sword fly. Oh, he nailed it. This is easy sub 120.
In the final boss, there's some reinforcement waves that happen when you're killing the final boss based on when he gets to a certain health threshold. Now, normally, they don't really matter and you can get the final boss dead with the Johnson glitch.
No way.
Once you kill the final boss, there is about 10 seconds before the level actually ends. And during that time, all the enemies and all your teammates, like, they're still active. They're still fighting out there. And if you're caught in the crossfire, you can easily die and just revert back to the very start of the fight.
That leads me to believe he dies here. That's so sad. What an awful way of losing it.
So by the time I finally killed him, there was a brute right behind me. He punches me. I start freaking out. Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to save it. So I kind of just did a random input, and then I lost it there.
Oh my god, the actual last possible thing that could happen.
Yeah, there's so many emotions. Like, I was angry, annoyed, I was
That's
embarrassed.
actually a divine act.
Stream. This run was it. Tartarus was dead. All I had to do was wait 10 seconds, and then the run was finished.
It's heartbreaking to watch that happen, especially on a run so fast.
That's haunting.
It took a lot of me trying to, like, really reassure him and try to convince him, like, hey, you've done this once, you can do it again. You're in a league of your own. You are so far ahead of everyone else, and the paces you're getting are so consistently fast that this is going to come with time.
Zoo's motivation hadn't dried up. He knew the sub 120 was within reach. He kept pushing.
But maybe it just wasn't what men were made for.
And on November 7th,
we're not supposed to sub 120. Our race isn't meant for it.
It started off really good. Like, even though it started off with some time loss, a 448 Cairo is still, like, insane. The missions after that went pretty standard. So I ended up being ahead by quite a bit. And then Regret came. Regret, everything went my way, basically. Then I finished QZ, ended up getting a QZ. A 57-53 split is... I remember also being hyped for that. Like, that's insanely fast for Halo 2 Legendary.
When I saw those splits, a run that was this fast and still gaining with time to save on Great Journey, I was blown away. This was shaping up to be one of the best Halo 2 speedruns of all time.
I do High Charity Skip. I remember specifically, I practiced High Charity Skip.
I feel like he doesn't get it here. I don't know.
This run, so I ended up.
This one feels like it's got a lot of negative emotions behind it.
Everything was aligning. Zoo had only died 7 times, none of which were particularly costly. It all amounted to a 24-second lead going into Great Journey, where he could save
no one
another
fucks up
huge chunk of time.
Great Journey 5 times.
Pressure was on.
My mindset with this run, like, as if I'm ahead at all going into Great Journey, then like I have this in the bag. I should have this in the bag.
When he got to Great Journey,
God.
I am without a doubt certain that he was incredibly nervous.
As I progressed, everything seemed to go my way completely. Okay, so the end fight,
Oh,
these
okay, no,
Johnsons,
he gets it.
the Johnsons were like in some sort of conga line. The Johnson behind the first one wouldn't shoot at Tartarus because it would mean he was shooting his own teammate.
Johnson!
He didn't shoot at all. So that kind of prolonged the fight. Like, it was taking a while for Tartarus to die. So that gave the brute reinforcements, giving the brute reinforcements time to get on the platform and kill me. But
no
didn't
shot.
happen.
Yeah, huge. Finally, holy fuck! What he's doing right there, I don't know if he explained it. What you can do in this game is if you bury your head into a wall, it puts your hitbox into the wall a little bit, so the enemies don't think you're there. The AI doesn't know that you're there anymore, so they de-aggro basically.
It's so good. Like, there's, mistakes here and there, but Halo 2 Legendary, you don't get a run that's going to be perfect. This had so few deaths, so few mistakes, so little trolls by RNG, that the time is just incredible.
But easily beatable. In fact, I did it the next day.
This was like one of the only times
on
where
my first
I felt
try.
happy with the PB, Like, I felt satisfied. Like, this is actually a good run. So I was happy, like, happy for the first time with the PB with the run. It was such a good run. I finally considered a run to be good.
To this day, Zoo's 119 remains on top of the leaderboard. There's been a recent push to break the record, thanks to a $3,000 bounty placed by Eki.
Damn.
In the first few months of
He must
2023, Gryphon,
Yeah, he must really
Sinister,
fucking hate that
and
record.
Nails have all improved their times. But Zoo's world record still stands above them. 5 years ago, world record runs used to not be saved. The game was an afterthought compared to Halo 2 Classic. Now, Halo 2 Anniversary has a thriving community, with a world record that reflects that. And as solid as it is, there's no doubt that competition will drive it far lower in the years to come.
Yeah, I feel like there's still so
This
much
has been the
optimization that
history
can
of
happen.
Halo 2 world records.
I
Thanks
think
for
that gets sub 118 at some point. Just after watching all of the bounty
Please don't
runs
forget to
on
subscribe
Anniversary, I
if
feel
you
like there's still
enjoyed,
so much
since that
potential.
really helps me out. Thank you.
God, the Halo run is so fucking good. There's still so many glitches that were used in there that weren't discussed in this video. It's such a great run. I'm happy Summoning Salt shows this for the next one. It's such a fucking good run. The easy speed runs at 105, so sub 118 seems possible. Well, no, in the easy one you can skip enemies a little easier than you can in Legendary. Legendary you get one shot half the fucking time, so wouldn't necessarily use that as your gauge. Thanks the resub swerving. The new Warhammer Bolt game. Yeah, not tonight, but in general, yeah, I'm probably going to give it a try. Thanks to Bitskirth. Check the world record. Well, it's still 119, man. This video was posted yesterday. Hasn't changed. Or 3 days ago. Hasn't changed. And it won't for a while. You'd have to find some crazy new glitches in order to get it down. Unless you're just like one of the best runners in the game who gets a crazy pace. Any chance you're gonna look into the Doom Mod MyHouse.wad? I haven't heard of that. Sean just played it. Where is this the no, this isn't the trailer. Oh, is this like one of those ARG style games? That must be the case.
With a 10-minute runtime, MyHouse.wad, WAD being the file format for Doom maps and mods, was ready to download for anyone to play for themselves.
Making maps of your house was all the rage back in the day, but I feel like this is a pretty adorable and detailed tribute to my friend, and a great way to share something of him with the community.
I see. I get what it is. Maybe I'll try it. Not tonight, though. I'll put it in the tab. Not an ARG, but it's super interesting. Thanks the resub sim. This mod is just wow. Watched the whole video and it impacted my life like crazy. I think about it daily since I watched the vid. Holy shit, I'll have to check that out later. This must be a crazy fucking video going over it. Isn't Power Pack the same channel that did the N64 Forbidden game? I forgot what the name of it was. No, it doesn't look like it. Some people are saying yes. Well, where is it? It was like N64 bird game, the Forbidden Bird game. Doesn't look like it was him that did it. But I'll definitely have to check this video out later. It's the first WAD to make rooms be able to be on top of each other in the Doom engine. Does a lot of insane stuff never done in Doom. Well, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna go say goodnight to Tiana real quick. I'll be right back. Things resub decks. Yeah, no, like I said, I'll look it up, maybe play it. Sounds cool. Apparently changed one guy's life forever, so that's interesting. Here's the Prime treasure trove. The Bitsmack. Should play it instead of watching the lore on it. More interesting to discover everything yourself. Takes 2 to 3 hours for most people to do everything. I don't know, the video seems like it'd probably have everything, because what if I miss shit? Thanks, Risabali. Just go in blind. Alright, what do you need to play it? Is it just like a self-contained download and installer? Thanks the resub, Gabe. And Diablo. You need Doom 2 WAD and GZ Doom. And it doesn't come in the forum post from Doom World? Doom 2 WAD you can buy. The time setting all of it up is not worth it. Well, in the post here it says that there's about 10 minutes of playtime. Why did you say that it takes 2 to 3 hours? The spoilers reason. Okay, well, I'll figure out what I need for it and we can try it later. Later as in like later this week, not tonight. Thanks for resub onslaught. The resub cookies. There's some shiny slides. Or shiny sides. I'll go in blind. That's fine. I just can't imagine it's actually life-changing. It's a Doom mod. But I'm open to being pleasantly surprised. You see Stephen King's tweet about the new Flash movie. Yeah, this is another thing that I feel like this has to be some kind of like elaborate scheme. Like everyone's in on the scam or something. Because literally everything says that this is the best goddamn fucking superhero movie ever made. Which I just can't believe that. But I guess we'll see. Comes out in like 3 weeks. Flashpoint is one of the strongest points in DC. I get that, but like, it's not like this movie somehow transcends the problem a lot of DC movies have had with bad CGI. Oh, they just released a new trailer. Surprised at it being good. I don't see how it could be nearly as good as people are saying from the test screenings. Never trust people that watch test screenings. Yeah, but I mean, even with test screenings, they all said Aquaman 2 fucking sucks. So I feel like with DC, if it's like exceptionally bad, even the test screen audience would be like, yeah, that shit was trash. Didn't the new Indiana Jones movie get a standing ovation? Don't know where you read that. I've read nothing but negative things about the new Indiana Jones movie. Thanks, a resub cat. It did, and apparently it sucks ass. Oh. Cool. They only stood because it was the premiere and he was in the room. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, Harrison Ford's great. Just that movie doesn't look good at all. Thanks to Resub X. Thanks to the resub shoelace. A lot of movies get standing ovations. What matters is how long it is, and Indiana Jones was only like 2 minutes. I don't really care that much about like the duration of the standing ovation at the film festival. It's cool, I guess, or not good, I guess. I don't know. Do you think Blue Beetle will be good? Probably not. Not like I have a whole lot of faith in superhero films to be good. But I'm always up to be pleasantly surprised. You're competing in the Master Duel World Championship. Is there wait, there's a Master Duel World Championship right now? How long is it going on for? Let's see. Become the top duelist in the world. So they have it for Duel Links. They do every year. I competed in that last year, or the year before. I can't remember. I already forgot. And then the normal YCS and Master Duel. Doesn't say anything about, like, what the process is or anything on the website. Is it just like a new ladder in the game? If you keep winning in first stage, your duel level will increase. As you suffer more defeats, your duel level will drop. Those before DL4 will increase. Okay, it's kind of the same as Duel Links. Oh, you get to qualify for the actual... Wait. The what? Okay. We'll read it together. The WCS 2023 finals will be held in Japan as an offline event on August 5th and 6th. That's worthless for me. I'm not flying to Japan. There'll be a team battle with duelists competing in groups of 3. What the fuck? I mean, it's not like I'd actually win or anything, but goddamn. That's cool. Everyone will probably just use tier limits. Yeah, of course they will. I'd use some rogue shit. My banished deck. See how far that goes. But it's kind of worthless if it's going to be an in-person event. Even if I somehow did pull it off, I'm not going. No, I already saw the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer. It'll probably be fun bad, I imagine. Thanks, resub Kansu. And the resub Upholstergeist. You gonna support your Hunger Games co-star in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? I will. I'm gonna see it. I'm not expecting much. But it should be fun bad, I'm thinking. Thanks for resub, Luba. Did you ever play Dungeon Dice Monsters? On the PlayStation 2? Yes. Kinda shitty. But Strike Ninja was very cool. Still probably my favorite card. It's a very bad card, but I always thought it was a really cool looking one. Yeah, we'll be watching the PlayStation Showcase tomorrow. Well, today, I guess, since it's midnight. They should have replaced Ezra Miller with you. Yeah, it would have been a great Flash. A quirky goofball. I could nail that role. Thanks to resub non-such. Have you seen The Butcher on History Channel? Yes! Well, I haven't seen a full episode, but I've seen, like, bits and pieces. You see the guy who tried to crash a truck into the White House. Only briefly. When I went to say goodnight to Tiana, I checked Twitter real quick, and apparently some guy tried to crash a U-Haul into the White House. So he, like, hit the barrier with it. Did he succeed? I mean, he hit a barrier. He said he did it to take over the government and kill Joe Biden. Let me see, let me read about it. He was seeking to harm the president. It's right there in the first paragraph. Threatening to kill, kidnap, inflict harm on the president, vice president, or family member. President Joe Biden was in the White House when the truck crashed outside. He's lucky Joe didn't hear it, because he wouldn't have lived to see another day. Joe Biden would have swooped out there, ice cream cone in hand, and took him down. He's relieved that no one was injured last night and grateful to the agent and law enforcement officer who responded so quickly. Oh, this guy's out here taking a selfie with it. So they found a Nazi flag, I guess. And then people just started showing up and taking selfies. Interesting. Well, what a plan. Kid was 19. Can't believe the plan failed. I mean, it seemed pretty well thought out. I'll drive a U-Haul through the White House and kidnap Joe Biden. It is galaxy brain. Thanks to the resub Quick and Easter. It was a 6-month plan, apparently. No, I believe that. He probably had, like, blueprints of the White House and everything with all kinds of arrows drawn, like a corkboard with different thumbtacks going to different places. Yeah, no, I believe it. If he had used an ice cream truck, Joe would have come outside himself. Yeah, true. 6 months and he didn't come up with the ice cream truck gambit? Oh, God. You should have been in the room with him. You could have steered him for a better plan. Oh, my God. It was right there in front of us the whole time. What an idiot. The barrier was not on the blueprint. Yeah, something went awry. I can't believe the plan didn't go according. What's The Machine? I don't know that movie. Yeah, no, Mortal Kombat 1 trailer was great. I think it's a resub. Hernando and Lukey. Brent Kreischer movie. Oh. Lost talking parrot escapes home and talks way back to find owner. Okay. Talking parrot that escaped Cape Coral home talks his way back to owner.
All of a sudden I hear from behind me, peekaboo!
But this was no game of hide and seek. It was a talking bird. A family out
Most
enjoying
birds
some
can
Easter
talk.
dinner this past Sunday in Northwest Cape Coral says a parrot flew up to their lanai and just started speaking to them. Little did they know this rare bird was lost and asking them for help. ABC 7's Gage Golding shows us how
That's
the
so
talking
adorable.
parrot
Holy
talked his way
shit.
back home to his owner.
We pretty much always leave his cage door open, and he kind of comes and goes as he pleases.
To Brent Chadwell and his girlfriend, their bird Tiki is part of the family. The 5-year-old Solomon Island
That's a
Electus is
wild
about as
noise.
rare as Parrot's skit. And last Thursday, he made a rare escape.
She was cleaning and I guess didn't realize the cage door was open, and he flew right by her and flew out.
For 3 long days, they were up early and out late looking for Tiki, posting all over social media, searching
Aw.
for anyone who may have spotted him.
I told her, I said, you know, we'll be really lucky if we ever see Tiki again.
Call it their lucky day then. While the family was sitting out on their lanai enjoying a little drink after Easter dinner, they heard something over their shoulder.
All of a sudden I hear
Camera work is superb.
peekaboo, with a cocktail in my hand. I'm thinking to myself, birds don't talk. And then I hear it again. I hear
A lot of
peekaboo
birds do
again.
talk.
It wasn't his nieces and nephews playing games, but rather Tiki trying to grab his attention.
That's definitely Tiki's way of telling them, hey, I need help.
Reed's sister, a veterinarian who was in town from Houston, was able to get Tiki in the pool bathroom. That's when they posted on Facebook asking if anyone lost their pet parrot. Within 15 minutes, they were in touch with Brent, sending him this picture.
Like, I started crying
That's
as
so
soon as I
sweet.
saw that picture because I knew that was Tiki. I mean, the fact that we found him a quarter mile away after 3 days is a miracle.
It was like an Easter miracle.
Now, who would have thought Tiki's little voice would somehow lead him to his owner?
He says, peekaboo, tickle, 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 give me that foot, come here.
Give me
hello,
that
hi."
foot.
Well, today he wasn't too talkative.
What's that noise?
That's his basically alarm call. You know, if he was in a flock of birds and they saw some guy walk up with a big camera, they would probably do that.
While Tiki's being a bit shy, Brent has a few words for anyone who might find themselves in a similar situation.
If you lose a pet, don't give up. Keep searching, keep posting, keep talking to people, and you'll get it home.
That's so
Reporting in Cape
fucking
Coral,
wholesome.
Gage
Oh my
Golding,
God.
ABC 7.
That's so sweet. That's so cute. Moral of the story, teach your pets to talk. True. Yeah, parrots are super smart. What are really smart are crows. Crows are like ridiculously smart. There's the Risa Machiavelli and Mystic and Zyri. They teach their kids to hate, which is cool. Yeah, they have generational grudges. Where if you wrong a crow, it won't only hate you, it'll teach their kids to hate you. And their kids will teach their kids to hate you. It's fucking awesome. I don't know, Scoots. Maybe it's trying to tell you something. Thanks a prime, Marco. Crows are crazy smart, only to be bested by a scarecrow. Do scarecrows even work? I feel like that's just like an old-timey myth that people keep up out of tradition now. I can't imagine that actually keeps them out of the field. Let me see. Stationary scarecrows may keep the crows away for a short period of time, but they quickly become used to them. Moving the scarecrows around every few days does help, but this can be labor intensive. Modern scarecrows use technology to keep the birds away. What technology does it use? Tear gas or something? What do you mean? An annoying noise for it? But yeah, it seems it doesn't really do anything on its own. Pretty sure crows can talk too, can't they? Yeah. They can also smoke joints.
Tuck thinks he is a very small human.
Hello. Hello.
I'm a little obsessed with him.
Hi, Tuck. Hi, Tuck.
That's so cool.
I'm Macy with the American Eagle Foundation, and this is Tuck's story for GeoBeats. I never thought I would have a special bond with a crow.
Use some shadow in the bit
It's
spark.
very overwhelming and amazing whenever I think about it.
Hi, Tuck. Hi, Tuck. Yeah.
Tuck can mimic a few words. We didn't really have to train him in that. It's just something that people would say to him every day.
Hello. Hello. Are you Tuck?
And then whenever he really wants attention and we're not giving it to him right then and there, he will say, "What?" Which means he's aggravated with us. There's a bullfrog that hangs outside, and he has picked up on that, where he will just mimic the bullfrog from time to time.
That's so fucking cool. Yeah, crows are awesome. He looks like he's wearing a shirt. Yeah, he kind of does. He's got the wife beater on. True. Yeah. He's the resub Yoshi. If you feed crows long enough, they bring you gifts. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we watched the video on why crows do that. And the explanation is literally they start learning, like, if they bring you something, they get something. Which is cool. He's a bit Spartan. And the resub. Sad kitty. And the bits Jimmy. I work at a theater and I had someone come up to me and say, Guardians was too confusing, I want a refund. What? Is that something you offer? Like, if you're too stupid to understand the movie, we'll give you your money back? What is that plan? I watched this whole movie and I didn't get it. Where's my money back? Thanks, Resub Raymond in the Prime Falcon. How the fuck was Guardians confusing? I don't know, man. If you're getting confused by a Marvel movie, you got to take a real hard look in a mirror. And that's like a sit down and think kind of moment. Thanks, Resub Pablo. The bits, Josh. And Tier 1 Spartan. Check out magpie swooping in Australia. I'm very familiar with magpies. Jackson's talked about them before, so I've looked it up. They fucking go hog wild. Oh, this is also where the meme comes from, by the way. I'm sure you've seen this on Twitter from time to time. This is a magpie just really attacking this poor kid. They're mean motherfuckers. Why do they do that? Oh, I have no idea. I don't know. I guess like just the changing of the season makes them real confident. Like, hey, we can beat these humans.
Ballarat skipped and rail trail on a there are oh, oh shit, 2! What the f is this about, Rick? Whoa! Do we name these birds? B1 and B2? Bastard 1 and Bastard 2? Oh, no contact, mate. Oh, hey, sorry, that's... Ah!
They're very territorial. No, that's... I don't even think that's it. They, like, just go out of their way to attack people.
My neck protection on. These things will draw blood. That's no lie. I can't believe there's 2. Typically, there's only 1. They are very, very protective.
It's mating season aggression. Is that it?
It warms on its...
Yeah, they're just little assholes, though. Thanks, Risa, Mets fan and Phantom. And the Tier 1 Doom. Have you watched the play? Oh, are you going to watch the PlayStation Showcase? Yeah. Jackson, I'll be watching it. It's tradition. The movie The Birds is crazy. What? The fuck is that? Hey, sleep well, Spartan, and thanks. Appreciate it. That old horror movie Birds. Are you talking about The Burbs with Tom Hanks? I don't think I've ever heard of The Birds. Oh, it is a movie from 1952. It's a Hitchcock movie. Huh. Oh, 1963 is the Hitchcock movie. No, I don't think I've ever seen that one. Which director is your favorite? I don't know. I don't know who my favorite director would be. Maybe Nolan? It's hard to say. I think probably Nolan. Moonfall director. Oh, Roland Emmerich? Maybe. Maybe. This guy's got a beautiful mind. He really does. He makes the goofiest fucking films ever. He's only made like 2 actually good movies. I know. That's the beauty of it. He's got like 2 decent movies, like actually objectively decent movies, and then the rest is just wild schlock. It's so good. Was that Batman Forever? Did he direct Batman Forever? I don't know. He's mainly known for Independence Day and then all the disaster movies ever made. Let me see. No, I don't see Batman Forever here as a director. Maybe a producer? Let's see. Nope, not even a producer. He's a prime ant. He did the 1998 Godzilla movie. Roland? Yeah, he did. I vaguely remember this movie. We had the VHS tape and it had Godzilla's foot on it and I thought it was so cool. This movie. Nice resub Fluffy. You hear LeBron might retire? I mean, he's 38 years old. I'm sure it's something he's definitely considering. And if he ever logs on Twitter, he'll be like, man, fuck you guys, I'm quitting just so I don't have to listen to this shit anymore. Yeah, I assume he's probably gonna retire soon. Maybe not, like, this year or anything, but soon. Thanks, the bit's numb. Bron gonna play a season with Bronny before retiring. I mean, that'd be another what? How old is Bronny? It'd be another like 2 or 3 years, I think. LeBron James amends stance on playing with Bronny in the NBA. Just because that's my goal doesn't mean it's his. Bronny James will be a freshman at USC. So yeah, it'd be at least 2 years. 1 year at USC. Probably going to the draft as a rookie if he's not dog shit. So he'd be in his 40s. LeBron is returning to college and playing with Bronny at USC. That'd be so cool. I bet you USC would be like, please, brother, this would be amazing. Like an actual Billy Madison story. Give him the red shirt freshman or something. Technically, he probably can. He legitimately probably could because he didn't go to college. He got drafted out of high school. So he skipped college. He could actually, like, redshirt at USC probably if he wanted to and if the NCAA allowed it. Not the NCAA, Jesus Christ. That would be fucking amazing if he did that, though. Thanks, Resub Carlos. Like Goofy and Goofy Movie 2 shows up to class and shit. God, that'd be so good. NBA waives eligibility to play in college. It's LeBron. They would rewrite every rule in the book if they could. Imagine LeBron as a rookie in college at fucking 40. That'd be so good. That would be so fucking cool. Doesn't LeBron have a producer credit on Space Jam 2? Why not make a movie about this? This is gold he's sitting on right here. He can't act. You just can't recognize high quality thespian acting. I'm classically trained, so when I saw LeBron James in Space Jam 2, I knew I was looking at a timeless performance. Yeah, Sleep Token's a great band. Bronny could have gone to the draft direct. I think it's always smart to at least play one season in college. I think that's just important. Even though like some of the best didn't go to college, they just went straight to the NBA, but still, I just think that's better. Do you believe LeBron doesn't flop like he says? Oh no, LeBron flops. Everyone fucking flops. Let me... Where's the one from the other night? I think it's gonna be here, right? Yeah, right here.
A complete embellishment.
So good.
There's actually never been any team that I've played on in my 20 years where
We've been a flopping team.
Is LeBron the king of flopping, or is this whole thing overblown? Check out LeBron James here as Paul George gingerly touches the tip of his chest. I'm calling flop here. This one, however, is controversial on the free throw miss. Watch Chris Paul step in and box out. LeBron hits the ground.
This one, though, was from actually just a couple nights ago. It's so good.
No.
Like, he gets touched in the face, barely, and then he's like, ah!
He's actually never been in a...
The clip cuts off, but he slides into the crowd and has a drink spilled on him. It's really dramatic. It's fucking cool. Find the full clip. Here, it's probably going to be this one. I forgot he says thanks to the guy for the towel. I honestly thought he was about to, like, shed some tears here to really sell it, because he looks like he's, you know, starting to swell up a little bit for it. But then he doesn't pull the trigger on it. He's not ready to unleash his full Space Jam 2 acting abilities. Didn't need to. They already called it. It's not just him. I mean, shit, there's so many flops in the NBA. It happens. It's not even just LeBron. It's just that. Yeah, the anti-flop tech. Bro got out-flopped. Yeah, this one's a little... Like, I feel like the refs only called this one out of obligation for the first flop. Because, like, legitimately, this is just, like, just actually playing defense. Like, just normal defense. Like, this one's even more egregious than James, but James started it. He blew the lid off, so I think they had to call like a reverse flop. Thanks the resub Ghost, Jay, and Tattoo. Thanks to the bits, Crim. Marcus Smart is the king of flops, is he? Marcus Smart is the flop god.
I'm the chosen one.
In the air. Lynn off the bounce. Hangs in the air. Offensive foul.
Let's see this one.
Cool. Man, he's pretty good.
Watch Marcus Smart. You can't. Okay, with some contact there, right?
Yeah.
Or was there? You tell me. I mean, there's a little bit there.
What's even the point of flopping that position? I actually don't understand. You already have full possession there. Unless he just like actually lost his balance. He's like, fuck it, I'll flop and sell it.
I mean, there's a little bit there. He does like to flop.
That's kind of like
Just to draw the foul there? Yeah, but that's kind of a useless one there, right? I guess I don't know what the situation was with like where they were in fouls. Maybe it was worth it. That just seems like a useless one.
I mean, for what they're calling today, you would think that they would call.
What happened down
He is pretty good at flopping.
I couldn't see from where I was.
I wasn't it wasn't about the trip.
Okay.
I thought he just like flopped a lot.
You thought he flopped or fell down?
Yeah, he's I think yeah. I touched him, but I thought he oversaw it. You know, he's a smart player. That's why his name is Smart. Smart play.
This guy's in high spirits about it. They must have won.
He sold it. Yeah.
He sold it really well. But you gotta keep doing, what he's doing because it's working. People are not seeing.
Our favorite dude is at us again. Marcus Smart flopping, y'all.
Damn, that's got to be an awful legacy to have. Thanks, Resub, Pillsbury, and Infinite, even calling him out on the shows itself. Cool. He embraces it. That's sad. Why are we in the flop rabbit hole? Oh, we were talking about LeBron flop from the other night. Someone said Marcus Smart's like the master of it. Thanks, Resub Froggy. Who's your favorite player of all time? Allen Iverson. You need to see football flops? Oh, I've seen plenty. Thanks to Tier 1 Nacho. Those are just... Well, no, those are absolutely worse than NBA flops. Thanks to Resub Sneak. Alright, fine. We'll see a couple of these. What was that? Whoa! The double charge draw. That was pretty cool.
So kind of got him out of rhythm. It's almost like when he got bumped, he slapped himself in the mouth. And Stevenson slapped himself with his left hand.
Complimentary pieces that are out there above the three-point line. Good call.
Oh, man.
To shoot the ball
No.
and stretch the defense out.
Tice took a shot in the face. But he's going to get called on him, and he's going to foul out. Nope, check that.
On the handle. Got Bogey to bite, and he puts it down. Shot fake to try to get back.
That was a delayed one.
And you know
He
what
couldn't
I'll say,
decide
though,
whether or
they're
not to commit to
consistently
it.
calling that. If you
Weak.
move forward as a defender on a ball fake.
It's 32-24, and that's all on Dante Jones. Yep. That foul right there was on Leslie Hudson.
Damn, got him with that fucking
It's
push
a
from
foul,
Hunter
but I think
Hunter.
Corey Brewer
Christ.
may get a call from the league office.
Tatum behind the back.
Holy shit.
I give PJ Tucker. That's
He actually did get him with that whole force push there. Nearly sent him into the stands. Whoa. Now, when you get caught flopping, they still don't encourage it, right? Like, it's a foul on you for flopping, right?
You gotta sell it.
I actually haven't got to catch a flop live in a game.
So they can avoid those struggles putting the ball in the basket.
No, you still just get fined. I really thought that you ended up getting a foul called on yourself for it.
James here, look after the play. A little bit of a wing.
And Boozer just throws Ori to the ground.
He didn't throw him. Robert Ori, every time he comes up to set a screen, if there's any contact, is going to fall to the ground.
All right, let's take a look.
God, that's so embarrassing. Holy shit.
How big will their lead be is the question. 78-74.
Faulkner goes down. My goodness. I don't know. Did they actually call a foul on that, or are they just reviewing this to see?
Did he hit his head on the floor? That probably actually fucking hurt.
He is hiding his mouth because he's laughing at his brother. That's really what is happening here.
Joseph trying to separate him. And it's Tristan Thompson who hits LeBron James, not Damari Carroll. Kenny Maurer thought it was Carroll. And hopefully, as they look at the replay,
Damn,
they can
LaFlop,
rescind that
unlucky.
technical on Carroll.
That's the third time today, Dell, that the Hornets have fouled a three-point shooter.
shot is clearly away.
Oh,
oh my goodness.
wow. Oh.
Kirilenko once again how tight he is. Right underneath
What the
Durst.
fuck?
Oh, there's an offensive foul. Watch Kirilenko go down. A major flop. Yeah. Capital F.
These are some pretty impressive flops. I am impressed.
It's not so much that his confidence is
I wouldn't say that they're getting increasingly more dramatic, though. They're kind of just staying the same level of dramatic.
just a whisker. Draymond. He's got an Academy Award.
Leonard goes crashing to the floor. And then a foul on Stevenson on the block.
Oh, he's dead! He killed him! Oh, shit!
I mean, born actor. Come on.
When you look at the turnovers forced today, Will McDonald getting it was hit by Mick Kinesi.
No! Concussion protocol, quick!
Pero tinatawag na masama lang yung signal. Nahuli lang.
Oh.
Oh my, what happened? Well, that's Olenek and
Oh, he's still going! The aftershock!
Boozer and Bosch. I don't even think he hit him.
This is all about selling it, Kel. Sometimes you
I always love that. That one's the classic flop. That's just actually textbook where it looks like you just got like headshot.
This is all about selling it, Kel.
That one is iconic.
You've got to sell it.
He did with his right elbow.
They sell like Triple H in the WWE. Yeah.
Got the Academy Awards coming up.
No, and Smart went
Oh,
flying
Jesus Christ, Smart.
bruised his ribs in game 2, landed hard there.
Man, this guy... You can say all you want about Smart and his flops, but one thing you can never be mad at him for is how hard he'll go for the flop. He doesn't even cushion his fall. That's a lot of pressure on the tailbone right there. That shit definitely hurt. That absolutely hurt like a bitch. Bro did the silly salamander. True. 3-pointer flop. Yeah, absolutely. That's good. If you're gonna flop, at least hurt yourself doing it.
Landed hard there. 13. Foul going on Brooks, who flops to the deck.
Damn. Hopefully all the athletes were safe and made a speedy recovery after such brutal hits they took in those games there. My God. Love these IRL ragdoll physics. Yeah. There was a sniper in the crowd. Must have been. Must have been. Do they practice their flops? No, one thing you actually do practice, though, is taking a charge, which is why you see in all of these flops, almost every single time, it's like a similar cushioning. So when you take a charge, it's here, you fall back, and then, like, right when you hit the ground, you, like, push yourself off to kind of, I don't know, take some of the sting out of the fall. So it's the same for flops. That's why you see them do kind of the similar thing. But I doubt they practice flopping. Thanks, Resub Cambe. Do other sports have flops? I think the only other one that's notorious for flops is soccer. I don't think there's any other sports that have flops like that. Hockey has some. I'll tell you right now, I've only recently, over the last like year or so, gotten into hockey in a bigger way. I don't think those motherfuckers are flopping ever. Those are some like actual tough as nails dudes. Those guys are fucking freaks. Those guys are unbelievably like tough. I don't think they're flopping. There's a penalty for diving. In hockey, is there? I didn't know that. Here's the use of artificial blues. Yeah, soccer flops are great. I mean, you have this one, I'm sure all of you have seen.
Du kan se, Nielsen har fået en på sænkedusen. Og vi har et billede af det, tror jeg. Lad os prøve at se.
Flopping in soccer goes to a new level.
Det der. Der Bo Nielsen får lige en lille ørefin.
Kilder ham lidt.
Der sker det, at det ikke tur mig. Vi har haft et par gode slagsmål op foran. Og så ved jeg ikke, hvorfor en kurs.
It's an art. It is. It's like an actual integral part of the game. Look at the Neymar rolls. True, he has some crazy flops. The Marcus Smart of flopping. No, Neymar is like the king of crazy flops. Like, he goes like hog wild with it. Like, he'll like start like gripping his legs and like fucking flopping around like a fish. It gets wild. The song here is going kind of crazy too, actually. This is Pokemon OST. Is this from Pokemon? Yeah, there's flops in soccer in a big way. In this year's NFL playoffs, Morgan Barron took a skate blade to his face, got 75 stitches, and came back to finish the game. Yeah, I remember that. We talked about that on stream. Thanks, Resub. Kimbus and Raging Blast. A real man wouldn't need stitches. True. A real man's wound would have closed up if he just got a handful of dirt on it. Thanks, the resub Puminator. You ever watch Blue Lock? Tiana did, so I saw a decent chunk of it just by proxy. It seemed cool. Alright, I'm gonna go to bed though. Tomorrow we'll either play the Warhammer game or the MyHouse.wad, whatever, after the PlayStation showcase. All right. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. New subs, welcome aboard. Sub means a lot. Thanks for subbing. Enjoy the emotes. See you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night, everybody. The PlayStation Showcase is at 4 EST. So I'll see you then.